Hello and welcome. Today we are unpacking the latest numbers from a big name in Indian retail, Avenue Supermarts, better known as D-Mart.
That's right. D-Mart, founded by the respected investor Radhakishan Damani, operates a national chain of supermarkets. They're famous for their everyday low cost, everyday low price, or EDLC/EDLP strategy, focusing on value for money across foods, non-foods like FMCG, and general merchandise and apparel. They've grown significantly since their first store in 2002.
And they've just released their audited financial results for the quarter and the full year ended March 31st, 2025. The board approved these results in their meeting on May 3, 2025. We've got both the standalone and consolidated figures to look at today.
Correct. It's always good to see both, as standalone gives us a view of the core D-Mart operations, while consolidated includes subsidiaries like Avenue E-Commerce Limited, Align Retail Trades Private Limited, and others.
Perfect. Let's dive straight into the key financials, starting with the standalone results for the core D-Mart business. How did the revenue look for the fourth quarter, both compared to last year and the previous quarter?
Okay, for Q4 FY25 on a standalone basis, revenue from operations stood at 14,462.39 crore rupees. Comparing that year over year, it's a healthy 16.7% increase from the 12,393.46 crore rupees reported in Q4 FY24.
16.7% growth year over year. That's quite strong. What about the quarter over quarter picture? How did Q4 compare sequentially to Q3?
Sequentially, quarter over quarter, the Q4 revenue of 14,462.39 crore rupees is actually a decrease from the 15,565.23 crore rupees they reported in Q3 FY25, the quarter ending December 2024. That's a drop of about 7.1%.
Interesting. A strong year over year, but a sequential dip from Q3 to Q4. Now let's look at profitability. How did EBITDA perform on a standalone basis?
The press release highlights standalone EBITDA for Q4 FY25 at 981 crore rupees. That's a year-over-year growth of 4.4% compared to the 940 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. However, the investor presentation shows a slightly different calculation method, reporting EBITDA for Q4 FY25 as 977.58 crore rupees, calculated as PBT plus finance costs plus depreciation minus other income, compared to 940.09 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. So, the growth is around 3.98% using that method. Let's stick with the press release figure for simplicity, 981 crore rupees.
Okay, 4.4% year-over-year growth in EBITDA. How does that compare quarter over quarter against Q3 FY25?
Quarter over quarter, the Q4 EBITDA of 981 crore rupees is down compared to Q3 FY25's EBITDA, which, using the investor presentation calculation method, was around 1,260.8 crore rupees. That's a significant sequential decrease. It suggests profitability faced more pressure in Q4 compared to Q3.
Got it. So similar to revenue, strong year-over-year growth, but a sequential decline in Q4 for EBITDA. Let's move down to profit before tax, or PBT, on the standalone side for Q4.
Standalone PBT for Q4 FY25 came in at 788.52 crore rupees. Year over year, this is slightly down by about 1.9% from the 803.81 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Down slightly year over year. And the quarter over quarter comparison for PBT?
Quarter over quarter, the PBT of 788.52 crore rupees is significantly lower than the 1052.60 crore rupees reported in Q3 FY25. That's a sequential decline of about 25%.
Okay, so PBT is down both year over year and quarter over quarter for standalone in Q4. Now, profit after tax or PAT. What are those numbers telling us, keeping in mind any adjustments?
Right. Standalone PAT for Q4 FY25 was 619.71 crore rupees. Now this includes a prior period tax credit adjustment of 36.01 crore rupees. Without this adjustment, PAT would have been lower. Comparing the reported PAT year over year, it's up 2.6% from 604.20 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Okay, a small year over year increase in reported PAT, but helped by that tax credit. How does it look quarter over quarter compared to Q3?
Quarter over quarter, the Q4 PAT of 619.71 crore rupees is substantially lower than the 784.65 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. That's a sequential drop of about 21%, even with the tax credit boosting the Q4 number.
Understood. And the earnings per share or EPS for standalone?
Standalone basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 9.52 rupees. Year over year, that's up slightly from 9.28 rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's down from the 12.06 rupees reported in Q3 FY25.
And what about other income on the standalone side for Q4? Was it significant?
Standalone other income in Q4 FY25 was 39.13 crore rupees. Year over year, that's down from 52.20 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Quarter over quarter, it's slightly up from 36.44 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. It's not a huge driver, but worth noting the year over year decline.
Alright, that covers the standalone picture for Q4. Now let's switch to the consolidated results for Q4 FY25. How did the consolidated revenue shape up year over year and quarter over quarter?
On a consolidated basis, Q4 FY25 revenue from operations was 14,871.86 crore rupees. Year over year, that's a growth of 16.9% compared to 12,726.55 crore rupees in Q4 FY24. Very similar growth to the standalone level.
And the sequential quarter over quarter comparison for consolidated revenue?
Sequentially, the Q4 consolidated revenue of 14,871.86 crore rupees is down from 15,972.55 crore rupees in Q3 FY25. That's a decrease of about 6.9%, again mirroring the standalone trend.
How about consolidated EBITDA for Q4?
The press release quotes consolidated EBITDA for Q4 FY25 at 955 crore rupees. This is a very slight increase of 1.2% year over year compared to 944 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Just 1.2% year over year growth in consolidated EBITDA. And sequentially against Q3?
Quarter over quarter, the consolidated EBITDA of 955 crore rupees is significantly down from the Q3 FY25 level, which calculates to around 1,240.9 crore rupees using the P&L data. So, a noticeable sequential drop here as well.
Got it. Let's look at consolidated profit before tax (PBT) for Q4.
Consolidated PBT for Q4 FY25 stood at 720.30 crore rupees. Year over year, this is down 5.6% from 763.20 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Down year over year. And quarter over quarter for consolidated PBT?
Sequentially, the Q4 PBT of 720.30 crore rupees is down sharply by about 27.6% from the 995.05 crore rupees recorded in Q3 FY25.
Okay, consolidated PBT also down both year over year and quarter over quarter. What about the consolidated profit after tax for Q4? Any adjustments here too?
Consolidated PAT for Q4 FY25 was 550.79 crore rupees. Similar to the standalone results, this includes a prior period tax credit, this time amounting to 36.02 crore rupees. Comparing the reported figure year over year, this PAT is actually down 2.2% from 563.14 crore rupees in Q4 FY24.
Down year over year despite the tax credit. And the quarter over quarter consolidated PAT?
Quarter over quarter, the Q4 PAT of 550.79 crore rupees shows a significant decline of about 23.9% from the 723.54 crore rupees reported in Q3 FY25.
And finally, consolidated EPS for Q4?
Consolidated basic EPS for Q4 FY25 was 8.47 rupees. This is down year over year from 8.66 rupees in Q4 FY24 and also down quarter over quarter from 11.12 rupees in Q3 FY25.
And consolidated other income in Q4?
Consolidated other income was 25.05 crore rupees in Q4 FY25. That's down significantly year-over-year from 37.87 crore rupees in Q4 FY24, but slightly up quarter-over-quarter from 24.14 crore rupees in Q3 FY25.
Thanks for detailing both standalone and consolidated for Q4. What about the full year FY25 performance? Can you give us the highlights for revenue, EBITDA and PAT on both standalone and consolidated basis compared to FY24?
Absolutely. Standalone full year FY25. Revenue 57,790 crore rupees, up 16.7% year-over-year. EBITDA 4,543 crore rupees, up 10.8% year-over-year. PAT 2,927 crore rupees, up 8.6% year-over-year, includes the 36 crore tax credit. Consolidated full year FY25, revenue 59,358 crore rupees, up 16.9% year-over-year. EBITDA 4,487 crore rupees, up 9.3% year-over-year. PAT 2,707 crore rupees, up 6.7% year-over-year, includes the 36 crore tax credit.
So for the full year, we see consistent double-digit revenue growth, but profitability growth, EBITDA and PAT, lagged behind the revenue growth, both standalone and consolidated.
Exactly. That points towards the margin pressures the management commentary also highlighted.
Let's talk about those profitability insights. How did the margins look, comparing standalone and consolidated, and what trends did we see in Q4 and the full year?
Okay, looking at margins for Q4 FY25. Standalone EBITDA margin was 6.8%, down from 7.6% in Q4 FY24. Standalone PAT margin was 4.3%, helped by the tax credit, down from 4.9% year-over-year. Consolidated EBITDA margin was 6.4%, down from 7.4% year-over-year. Consolidated PAT margin was 3.7%, also tax credit aided, down from 4.4% year-over-year. For the full year FY25, standalone EBITDA margin was 7.9%, down from 8.3% in FY24. Standalone PAT margin was 5.1%, down from 5.4% year-over-year. Consolidated EBITDA margin was 7.6%, down from 8.1% year-over-year. Consolidated PAT margin was 4.6%, down from 5.0% year-over-year. The trend is clear. Margin compression both year-over-year for Q4 and for the full year across standalone and consolidated results. This aligns with the management's comments about increased competitive intensity and wage costs. The consolidated margins are slightly lower than standalone, likely due to the performance of subsidiaries, particularly the e-commerce venture.
You mentioned the prior period tax adjustment. Were there any other significant exceptional items reported?
No, there were no items formally classified as exceptional items in either the standalone or consolidated results. The main thing affecting comparability, especially for PAT and EPS, is that prior period tax credit of around 36 crore rupees booked in Q4 FY25. The investor presentation also flags a one-off tax benefit in FY23, making comparisons with that year tricky too. So relatively clean results apart from that tax item.
Moving to the balance sheet, any quick insights from the standalone or consolidated figures as of March 31, 2025?
Looking at the end of year figures, standalone, total equity stood strong at 22,230 crore rupees, up from 19,280 crore rupees last year. Total assets reached 24,891 crore rupees. Debt appears manageable based on the debt-equity ratio shown in the presentation, which remained low at 0.03. Consolidated, total equity was 21,427 crore rupees, slightly lower than standalone due to non-controlling interests and subsidiary performance, up from 18,697 crore rupees last year. Total assets were 24,320 crore rupees. The debt situation seems similar to standalone. Overall, the balance sheet looks robust, supporting their expansion plans.
What about cash flow? Any highlights from the year?
The standalone cash flow statement shows net cash flow from operations for FY25 at 2,597 crore rupees, which is slightly down from 2,743 crore rupees in FY24. The consolidated net cash flow from operations was 2,463 crore rupees, also down from 2,746 crore rupees last year. Significant cash outflow was as expected for investing activities, primarily purchasing property, plant, equipment, and capital work in progress reflecting their store expansion.
Now, segment performance. DMart usually reports as a single retail segment, right?
That's correct. Note 7 in the standalone results and Note 8 in the consolidated results confirm that the company operates primarily in the business of retail trades, and there are no separate reportable segments as per Ind AS 108. However, the investor presentation does give us a breakdown of revenue share by product category for FY25. Foods contributed 57.73%, non-foods, FMCG, were 20.01%, and general merchandise and apparel made up 22.26%. This mix is largely stable compared to FY24.
Okay, so no segment deep dive possible, but the category mix is stable. Let's bring in the performance analysis and context. How do you summarize the quarter and the year, incorporating the management's commentary?
The overall picture is one of continued strong revenue growth driven by store expansion and increased footfalls. Like-for-like growth for stores older than 2 years was 8.1% in Q4 FY25, though down from 10.3% in Q4 FY24. However, profitability is clearly under pressure. CEO Neville Noronha pointed to 3 key factors in Q4. 1. Increased competition in FMCG, impacting gross margins. 2. A surge in entry-level wages due to demand-supply mismatch. And 3. Ongoing investments in service levels and future store openings. They also opened a large number of stores in Q4, 28 stores.
He also mentioned performance differences based on location.
Yes, he noted that while the overall business is resilient, they're performing significantly better in non-metro towns compared to metros. Even within metros, like-for-like growth is better, where DMart store density is lower. Gross margins in mature metro towns are expected to remain soft for some time.
And the DMart Ready e-commerce business?
The commentary suggests FY25 was a reset and review year for DMart Ready. They shut down several pickup points, PUPs, but the home delivery channel grew strongly, compensating for the loss. Management seems confident in the model's scalability and relevance for metro shoppers, but cautioned that profitability for the standalone online segment is still some time away.
Any other significant notes or events? Store openings?
Yes, store openings are a key metric for DMart. They added 28 stores in Q4 FY25 alone, bringing the total addition for FY25 to 50 stores. This took their total store count to 415 stores across 14 states and union territories, with a retail business area of 17.2 million square feet as of March 31, 2025. Also, the appointment of Anshul Asawa as CEO designate in mid-March 2025 is significant for future leadership.
Now, crucial part, the auditor's report. What did SRBC and Company LLP say about the standalone and consolidated results? Any qualifications or concerns?
This is positive news for DMart. For both the standalone and the consolidated audited financial results for the year ended March 31, 2025, the auditors, SRBC and County LLP, issued an unmodified opinion. This essentially means they found the financial statements give a true and fair view and are free from material misstatements in accordance with accounting standards.
Unmodified is what you want to see. Were there any emphasis of matter or other matter paragraphs?
Yes, there were other matter paragraphs in both reports, but they are quite standard. They primarily state that the figures for the quarter ended March 31, 2025 are derived balancing figures between the full year audited figures and the reviewed figures up to the third quarter. The consolidated report's other matter also mentions their reliance on the reports of other auditors for 3 subsidiaries, detailing their asset, revenue, and loss contribution. This is also standard practice for consolidated audits involving subsidiaries audited by different firms. Crucially, there were no qualifications, adverse opinions, or disclaimers of opinion.
Excellent. So from an auditor's perspective, the results appear clean for both the core company and the group.
Exactly. The company also provided the required declaration confirming the unmodified opinion.
So pulling it all together, what's the outlook and what are the risks for DMart?
The outlook seems cautiously optimistic, driven by their consistent expansion strategy and strong value positioning, especially in non-metro areas. Management's focus on improving operational efficiencies and the potential of DMart Ready offer long-term positives. However, the risks are clearly visible. Sustained margin pressure from competition and costs, potential slowdown in consumer spending, challenges in scaling the e-commerce business profitably, and execution risks associated with rapid store expansion. The softness in mature metro markets is also something to watch. Disclaimer: as always, this discussion is for informational purposes only. Investors should consult with certified financial advisors before making any investment decisions.
Great analysis. So, to conclude, Avenue Supermarts DMart delivered strong double-digit revenue growth for FY25, fueled by aggressive store expansion. However, Q4 showed sequential weakness and profitability across the board, faced pressure throughout the year due to competition and rising costs. Standalone and consolidated results followed similar trends. While the e-commerce arm is being reset, the core retail business remains resilient, particularly outside major metros. Importantly, the auditors gave clean, unmodified opinions on both standalone and consolidated financials.
That sums it up well. Solid growth, but navigating margin headwinds will be key going forward. The consistent store additions show their long-term focus remains intact.
Thanks for breaking that down for us, and thank you all for tuning in. Join us next time for more financial insights.